As much as I love the high school and university-themed BL series, the impact of a BL series with mature storytelling is truly on a different level. This varies from genre to genre, and this time around, we will discuss some of the best, or even the most controversial, BL titles I have ever seen. Without further ado, let's get started. Number 1 on our list, KinnPorsche. It's impossible to overstate how drastically KinnPorsche completely rewrote the rules of the entire BL industry with its massive cinematic mafia scale. The absolute shocker was its completely uninhibited, ultra-explicit mature content, which paired breathtakingly raw intimacy with brutal underworld violence that blew past every existing censorship boundary. On the flip side, looking past the glaring plot holes and the deeply problematic boundary-crossing toxicity of the side couples required a serious amount of suspension of disbelief. Yet, the sheer hypnotic magnetism between Mile and Oppo, combined with the jaw-dropping production values, made this chaotic ride a total game-changer that I'm still obsessed with. Number 2 on our list, My Stand-In. From the very first episode, My Stand-In completely consumed me with its dark, high-stakes look at the stunt industry and gut-wrenching emotional angst. What completely blew the fandom away was how it unapologetically shattered the standard romantic formula, blending intense physical intimacy with dark themes of toxic obsession and a supernatural reincarnation twist. That being said, navigating the sheer toxicity of the main relationship was genuinely exhausting, as Ming operates as a massive, unredeemable red flag whose cruel manipulation of Joe is often incredibly painful to watch. Yet, the powerhouse emotionally raw performances by Poom and Up give them such an electric, tragic chemistry that you can't help but stay glued to this beautifully chaotic ride until the very end. Number 3 on our list, The Heart Killers. Talk about a total adrenaline rush. The Heart Killers delivers a wildly stylish, visually stunning thriller fueled by the electric chemistry of its cast. What completely caught me off guard was how it normalized adult hookup culture and kinky intimacy right out of the gate, boldly upending the typical wholesome BL progression by letting the characters explore their physical lust first. That being said, navigating the severe tonal whiplash between gritty Tarantino-style hitman violence and fluffy, lighthearted rom-com tropes was deeply frustrating and killed the high stakes. But even with a narrative that occasionally feels scattered, the sheer star power and fearless performances of First Cow and Jungdunk make it an incredibly fun boundary-pushing ride that's impossible to look away from. Number 4 on our list, Only Friends. Coming into Only Friends, I knew it was going to be messy, but the sheer chaotic drama of this friend group kept me completely addicted from start to finish. What really set me on fire was how it boldly discarded the typical chaste university tropes to dive headfirst into a raw, unfiltered world of hookup culture, toxic cheating, and highly explicit intimacy. The absolute powerhouse performances from the ensemble cast, especially First Cow and Neo, infused the complex web of manipulation with a magnetic energy that made the heartbreak feel devastatingly real. On the flip side, the endless cycle of backstabbing became incredibly exhausting by the final stretch, leading to a few rushed redemption arcs that didn't quite stick the landing. Number 5 on our list, The End of the World With You. I never expected an apocalyptic drama to hit this hard emotionally, but The End of the World With You completely blew me away with its raw, devastatingly intimate look at humanity. What really threw me for a loop was its absolute rejection of wholesome JBL tropes, highlighting jaw-droppingly explicit, unrated intimacy, right alongside a dark nihilistic exploration of depression. The magnetic, agonizingly intense chemistry between the leads makes their toxic history and desperate rekindling feel incredibly high stakes as the world ticks down. On the downside, some of the past emotional manipulation is genuinely hard to stomach, and a few rushed side plots occasionally distracted from the beautiful, moody dread of the main story. Number 6 on our list, Peach Lover. It's honestly pretty rare for a show to leave me as deeply conflicted as Peach Lover did. What completely sent shockwaves to all of us was its incredibly raw, unrated dive into the adult content creation industry, pushing censorship boundaries to the absolute limit with zero shame. Ki and Poom share a shockingly natural chemistry that makes their mutual devotion feel deeply authentic and surprisingly heartwarming amid all the high heat. On the downside, the show frequently trips over its own feet with a horribly disjointed narrative pace, uninspired side couples, and a bizarre use of AI art transitions that completely cheapen the production values. Number 7 on our list, Playboyy. If you think you've seen everything the BL genre has to offer, Playboyy arrives like a total shock to the system with its gritty, dark exploration of the underground escort industry. What completely blindsided the fandom was the sheer audacity of its unrated, hyper-explicit content, dragging heavy taboo themes like blackmail, substance abuse, and human trafficking directly onto the screen. I actually loved the slick, neon-soaked production design and found the massive, gorgeous cast incredibly captivating as they brought plenty of raw energy to the darker mystery elements. Unfortunately, the narrative itself completely unravels into a chaotic mess of confusing subplots and rushed explanations, making it feel like the plot was just an excuse to jump from one explicit hookup to the next. Number 8 on our list, 4 Minutes. Nothing could have prepared me for the sheer cognitive overload of 4 minutes, which completely fractures the traditional BL blueprint to deliver an intense psychological thriller. The series truly stunned the community by pairing explicit intimacy with visceral violence and dark crime elements that felt genuinely dangerous. Bible and Jez carry the weight of this heavy narrative beautifully, serving up a deeply magnetic and raw partnership that keeps you completely hooked. That being said, the constant reality-warping illusions and non-linear plot twists became so incredibly convoluted towards the finale that it left me feeling entirely dizzy trying to decode the truth. Number 9 on our list, My Personal Weatherman. Few shows have managed to catch me off guard quite like My Personal Weatherman, which pulled me in immediately with its gorgeously moody, high-production domestic aesthetic. The absolute shock value of this series stems from its incredibly bold depiction of a transactional contract, trading traditional slow-burn innocence for some of the most scorching intimacy on mainstream television. On the flip side, navigating the total lack of open communication between the leads was deeply frustrating, making their constant emotional misfires and uneven power dynamics feel borderline toxic at points. Even with those exasperating flaws, the undeniable chemistry between the main leads made every single bit of the drama completely worth the watch. Number 10 on our list, Love in the Air. I completely understand why Love in the Air became an absolute cultural phenomenon, because the sheer magnetism of the cast made it impossible for me to look away, even when the writing got messy. What genuinely stunned me about this series was the raw audacity of its mature content, completely obliterating typical genre constraints with an unapologetically intense portrayal of physical intimacy. On the flip side, I found the rigid 2 dramas in one structure incredibly frustrating since it abruptly discards the first couple halfway through, not to mention some highly questionable boundary issues that skate dangerously close to being toxic. Yet, the lightning-in-a-bottle connection between Boss Noel and Fort Pete somehow salvaged the whole experience for me, delivering a wildly entertaining ride that permanently shifted my expectations for the genre. I know that there are still other BL series which feature incredible chemistry on screen, so let me know which BL shows would you love to see next. Thank you for watching. That's it, and see you on the next one.